wonder of the world-famous Astrodome. Now we got trucks, we got dirt, we got clay, we got things blowing up, and it's all coming at you right now. Did I say trucks? Well, I meant it, but not just any kind of trucks. I mean capital T-R-U-C-K-S. The monster guys.
This one.
Awesome, dude.
Now here tonight we've got Barefoot, local favorite, KRUNCH. We also have Monster Patrol.
Where's the grave digger?
And I'm not going to forget it. Don't you worry about that. Grave Digger himself. We also have tonight Pro Stadium trucks. They're a blast to watch. Don't blink. They'll be by you like that. And I mentioned crashes galore. Things being crunched out there and smashed and dirt. Cool. That's what it's all about. It's Monster Jam. Ow! Well, let's go upstairs now to Mike Hogwood and Scott Douglas. Take it away, guys.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Well, I'll tell you what, the Astrodome is rocking here tonight with this Monster Jam. I think we're going to see an exciting monster truck show. Hi, everybody. As Dan said, I'm Mike Hogwood along with Scott Douglas. We'll be calling all the action for you here tonight. I really like, Scott, this course. I think it's going to be a challenge for these monster trucks.
Throughout the year here on Motor Madness, we're going to see all the different courses the U.S. Hot Rod Association runs on. This is also one of my favorites. It's the longest. It's got the U-turn. They've got to have the power, and they've got to be able to handle it.
All right, now we've got the big names here, the Carolina Crusher. We've got Grave Digger. We got Barefoot. Who else are we going to look for tonight?
Anytime Tom Minson Monster Patrol is in the field, he's got a shot to win. And also keep your eye on Scott Stevens, a longtime veteran right here in his home state of Texas. I think he's going to come out loaded for bear.
All right, it should be a great night tonight. Now, you've already heard from Dan Moriarty. He's running all over this Astrodome. Let's check in with him again now. What's up, Dan?
On this show, we've got monsters, Pro Stadium, things like that. But in 1999, stick with us, because we're going to bring you the fattest, the baddest, the dopest kinds of trucks, quad buggies, tractors, side-by-side sand drags, lawnmowers? Yeah, lawnmower racing. Take a look.
Qualifying round coming up on TNN Motor Madness Monster Jam. There are monster trucks here in Houston, Texas. Packed house tonight in the Astrodome as we get ready for our qualifying round. And a Texas native, Scott Stevens, rolling off in KRUNCH in a Chevrolet. He'll be going up against Monster Patrol. He's got his hands full here with Tom Mintz, doesn't he?
No question. The Monster Patrol team over the last few years, the most explosive team in monster truck racing. But Scott Stevens has been there before, and he's got a bunch of fans in Houston from just down the road in Spring, Texas.
All right, let's watch. See how he does. Boy, it's going to be tough taking this turn.
This is the key. And oh, he's up on his lid.
Scott Stevens has rolled over.
I was just about to say the whole turn is the key. We got to see if he's all right down there, Mike.
Well, the crowd on its feet here, and I'm sure folks are wondering as the safety crews go over to check out now on Scott Stevens and see if he is okay. That turn is tight. We knew it was going to be tight, and some of these trucks are going to have trouble negotiating these turns.
And it looked like he just kind of got into a slide and just went over top. The U.S. Hot Rod officials right now checking with Scott to see if he's okay.
Well, we take a look at it again, and I think one of the things that is great about this sport is the safety factor. So we hope Scott's okay, but there are a lot of safety factors.
No question about it. And the most important right now is the roll cage. And these roll cages are built as tough as any in motorsports because these 10,000-pound vehicles will go up on their lids, as you see right here.
10,000 pounds, 1,500 horsepower, and just could not negotiate that turn. And he's okay. Scott Stevens is out of the truck and okay, and a sigh of relief from all the folks here.
Well, I tell you what, with all his fans here, that's important.
All right, let's go down Dan Moriarty. He is caught up with Scott Stevens. Let's hope he's okay.
Scott, you told me beforehand, sometimes when you're at home, you roll over too often. What happened?
You know, our truck's just a little long for this tight track, and it just never did really get hooked up, and just had trouble making the turn.
What do you say to the people from Houston who came out and said, he's our guy, he's our Texan?
You know, we're still all right. The truck's all right. It seems like it's running really good. So, you know, hopefully just a few minutes out the pits and change the oil, and we'll be ready to come back.
Back when?
Oh, we'll be back next round, I hope.
That's my man. Thanks, Ed.
Oh, that's great news about Scott Stevens.
No question. He talked about the length of the truck, and you see he actually slips off the dirt, and that can be a key. He lost contact, got onto the concrete, and over he goes.
All right, Barefoot's ready to roll.
It's Todd Frolick coming up, and of course, the Barefoot team out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, the most decorated team in the history of monster truck racing.
How about executioner Mark Hall in that 97 Chevy?
Mark's been around a long time, 10 years behind the wheel of the Executioner.
Well, let's see what the veteran driver, the Executioner, has for Barefoot. We'll see how they negotiate these tight turns.
Here's where Barefoot should come on. Nobody makes a stronger engine than Barefoot, and look at him explode.
Boy, you can tell the horsepower there, Scott. Absolutely obvious.
572 Hemi, 1,600 horsepower, and Todd Frolick had to hammer it to beat a strong run from Mark Hall in the Executioner.
Executioner gave him a challenge there, but Barefoot absolutely with the horsepower and one of the favorites here tonight.
You know, the fastest qualifier who doesn't win in this round will come back in the next round, and Mark Hall just put on a great shot, as you'll see here. He's got an opportunity maybe to come back in the next round. We know that Todd Frolick and Barefoot will be there because of what he does here, and that is just full boogie tilt, hammer down, and hit it.
Well, you mentioned the experience. To run on a course like this, it takes some driver experience to get around.
No question, and Todd Frolick's got a lot of it.
All right, let's go back down to Dan Moriarty now.
Todd, you're moving on.
We're moving on. Hey, we were a little bit behind again. What's going on? Maybe you need to drive this dang thing.
I'm telling you, you are coming up big over that last jump.
Yeah, we got the horsepower, and I guess I kind of count on it once in a while. I better quit taking it for granted. We're going into the next round. Probably going to have some stiff competition. Better get after it, huh?
I'm telling you, the fans love seeing you jump that last one and go sky high and take him in the air.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of air out there. I'm liking the ramps. I say we're just motoring on.
Keep it up, brother.
Hey, we're motoring on here in Houston, Texas. Barefoot Monster Patrol looking good. We got more coming up.
Gary Porter's been at this just about as long as anybody. I always say when we finally get to a Monster Truck Hall of Fame, he's one of the first guys going in, been up and down the road, and he's going up against one of the real hot newcomers in Guy Wood, and I love this truck, the Bulldozer.
Guy Wood out of Blackwell, Missouri, 97 Chevy. He's ready to go, and we'll see what he has for Carolina Crusher. Again, one of those trucks that's been around for years and years, and is certainly a threat to win here.
Great mix, too, because, you know, Gary's always just had the stock Chevy looking good, and it looks like he's got a problem. I say looking good. He's broke. Bulldozer's going to win.
Well, Bulldozer with a bit of a surprise here. Guy Wood is the winner, and again, there is a problem of some sort on Carolina Crusher. And I know that Gary Porter has got to be a little bit disappointed.
Oh, tremendously disappointed. You know, when you're talking about being in front of 52,000 fans and probably the most famous building for monster truck racing, the Houston Astrodome, Gary really wanted to show, well, he got off the line pretty well. Try to see if we could see anything go away. It's kind of funny. And, yeah, he's got no momentum at that point.
He did hit funny and then just lost all power, and certainly disappointing here in the qualifying run. Carolina Crusher, a look again as he comes over that first row of cars, and then they'll power it all and bulldozer around the wheel.
Terrible break for him, but Guy Wood will take it, and Guy had a strong run going. I mean, he was going to give him all he wanted anyway. One of the new kind of trucks is interesting. You got to build a fast truck, but you want your own kind of identity. Bulldozer certainly got it.
Maybe a little underpowered from some of the other trucks. Not a lot, but certainly he handled well. Now let's move on. Gunslinger ready to go. Scott Hartson.
He's a gentleman who's been around a while and definitely can get down the track with the big boys. Maybe not one you've heard of as much as a Carolina Crusher or a Gravedigger, but he can go.
How about one of the veterans, Dan Patrick?
Dan Patrick always brings top equipment to every race he's at, and you got to love the muscle-bound Samson design.
This is one of the best design trucks. I love the look of Samson. We'll see how it does against Gunslinger here.
See if he's got the muscle to take on the Gunslinger. Into the turn, they look pretty even, so it's going to be horsepower to the finish. And Samson's got it. He flexes the muscle, and a great run for Dan Patrick.
Well, Dan Patrick is known for building those engines, and he built a good one for tonight here in the Astrodome in Houston. Just too much power.
You know when Samson shows up at an arena, at an event, you are going to see the best he's got. He's always got top-line equipment. Not that Gunslinger doesn't, but Dan Patrick really takes a lot of pride in putting a lot into it. Now, Gunslinger was in great shape here, but I think we got to a horsepower thing, Mike, as they came for home.
And as we see them take the turns, I think we can see how much work the driver has to do to get around these turns, both with the front and the rear.
You got to remember, there is a separate rear steer, so you've got to move, in essence, two pieces of the truck around. It is very difficult to do.
Well, Gunslinger a bit disappointed, but Samson will move on. And now, Gravedigger, one of the real favorites.
You know they came to see the Digger in Houston. Pablo Huffaker, handpicked by Dennis Anderson to join the Gravedigger team, and what an outstanding talent Pablo is. He goes up against Jack Caverna, an experienced veteran, a little down in horsepower, as you'll notice from some of the other guys, but we'll see how Cyborg does.
Hey, Gravedigger, I don't care where monster trucks run, always seems to get the loudest applause. And Gravedigger looking strong here. Gravedigger, if he can just max that throttle down here, he's got it. Gravedigger on to win here in this qualifying round, and he will advance on, and that's really no surprise.
Yeah, but that was really a blowout, and I think what's interesting is how well Pablo got the first half of the course and made a great turn.
All right, Dan's trying to catch up with Pablo right now. Let's go down and check in with Dan Moriarty.
Pablo, the Gravedigger moves on in the rounds. How you doing it?
We're doing good. Track feels great out there. I was a little surprised by the dirt. It's a lot tackier than I thought it would be. Hopefully when we get out here and get ready to go in the next round, we can come out a winner and then go out there and do an awesome freestyle. I think we can ride some wheelies tonight.
The fans are going nuts every time you hit the ramps.
Oh, that's great. If it wasn't for all these fans out here cheering us on, I mean, it puts pressure on us because there's a lot of people up there we got to satisfy, but it's a good feeling to know that they're all there rooting for you. So keep on rooting for us, Digger fans.
I'm sure Digger fans will. Here are the results of round one. Scott, what's the big surprise?
Has to be Bulldozer beating Carolina Crusher, and even though Crusher broke, it's interesting to note that Bulldozer had the third fastest run of that round. He's for real.
There we got a lot more truck action still to come here from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Diaphless, pretty good show. Jim Kohler, an Avenger. David Morris, an equalizer in the qualifying round, and it was David Morris who advanced on. Moving on to round one, Brian Barthel and Little Tiger trying to upset the Gravedigger and Robert Parker. But Gravedigger would win to advance on to the finals where he would match up against the equalizer and David Morris. This made for a great final, Scott.
Heavyweight showdown. David Morris always as fast as anybody, but Robert Parker is able to get the hammer down and put the Gravedigger into the winner's circle at Minneapolis.
That happened a year ago. Now here's the freestyle. Monster Patrol can freestyle like no other.
You know, as great a race team as Monster Patrol has become, they've probably become more famous for their freestyle. It's wild, it's crazy, but it's not supposed to get this crazy. Tom Mintz loses the wheel. As the wheel's taking off, look at Tom. He
Are you
hasn't
kidding
stopped.
me?
He's not quitting. He's going on with it.
That is amazing. Hey, you want to know more about monster truck jargon? Let's get it down to our man, Dan.
You know, if I just look at these guys, you know when they're working on their trucks, they must have their own lingo all to themselves. It's Greek to us, but they know what it means. Let's check in and find out what it all is.
What are some of the most bizarre terms you guys have?
Well, I guess one that David Morris come up with an equalizer, a canoodering rod. That's the canoodering rod.
What does a canoodering rod do?
It connects the sway arm bar to the rear end to keep the truck level. Dennis Anderson calls the third member in your rear end's a hog's head.
Hog's head, you've been over talking to them Southern boys down there, like Mr. Porter, huh?
So, see, the guys down south are making up names for things. Hogshead. Oh, my God. Did I find that in the book? Well, what does it do exactly?
Carries a ring and pinion. It's what actually drives the rear ends out from the transfer case.
Welcome to the Motor Madness Monster Jam. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Moriarty.
Who's Dan Moriarty?
Coming to you again from the Astrodome in Great Houston, Texas. Now, if you missed last week, you know we moved pretty fast. So this week, you'll see last week's Monster Truck Finals. Also, some dragster tractor pullers. I also saw around here some side-by-side sand drags. And you know what else? I'm telling you, I'm not sure where they are, but I saw some lawnmower drag races. What is that all about? I swear to you, lawnmower drag races. So kick back, sit down, you're gonna love this stuff. Now, if you missed last week, I'm sorry about that, but here's an update on what happened.
Awesome, dude.
Crashes galore, things being crunched out there. Cool. All right, let's go to the guys in the booth. Mike Hogwood and Scott Douglas. How you doing, guys?
Dan, like you, we're doing great and fired up for another night of Monster Jam. As Dan said, I'm Mike Hogwood, along with Scott Douglas. We'll be calling the action tonight. We've got some great semifinal runs coming up in the monster trucks. How about Bulldozer going up against Gravedigger?
One of the all-time legends, the Gravedigger, will try and knock off one of the real new kids on the block, the impressive Bulldozer. That ought to be a dandy. And our first semifinal, Monster Patrol and Barefoot, will be a war.
Yeah, and that war is coming up next on TNN's Motor Madness Monster Jam. Get ready for some semifinal runs.
Out of Paxton, Illinois, the big Chevrolet will square off against that powerful Dodge. And as you saw last week, Todd Frolic can make Barefoot fly, especially on the second half of this race course. This is going to be a great matchup. The winner goes to the finals.
It's really hard to pick who would be a favorite in this, I think.
No, I think it's an absolute toss-up. Here we go, showtime. Good start by Barefoot, and he's stronger on the second half of the course.
And again, we're on this U course, so that turn is very important, and they are in a dead heat. Who wins? It's pretty tough to tell there.
It is, but the word coming down is that the win goes to Barefoot. I think we're going to get another look at it in a moment because it had to be a photo finish. Barefoot and Monster Patrol actually crossed the finish line at virtually the same time. I mean, this is hundredths of a second separation.
I was going to say, if you can see Barefoot winning, you got a lot better eyes than I got. Man, that was as close as they can. Look at the hands going up in the air by Tom Mintz. He doesn't understand who won. Watch now on the replay as they come down the home stretch, dead even as they're in the air.
And take your pick. I mean, throw a blanket over them. They came across together. Another angle, and Barefoot, again, it's that momentum he gets flying through the air that it looks like right at the finish gave him just maybe a 6-inch victory. Wow.
I was right. Heartbreak for Monster Patrol, but Todd Frolic in barefoot. Looks pretty strong. Well, Dan Moriarty's trying to catch up with Todd Frolic. He has him now, so let's go down to Dan Moriarty.
Todd, one more time over the jumps. You're going sky high.
Yeah, we're getting some pretty good air out there. A lot of people don't know, but Monster Patrol and Barefoot are from the same team, so that was a good race. Tom's got a sick motor tonight, but I still got it.
You got him right in midair.
In midair. I seen him come around that corner. He took me, and I'm like, man, I got to do it again from behind, so maybe we'll come from behind one more time.
You care who you meet in the finals?
I'd like to meet Digger.
Bingo.
Well, what a run by Barefoot, and there is Digger, who he was talking about.
Yeah. Todd, be careful what you wish for, because you just may get it. Pablo Huffaker pulls to the line against Guy Wood in the Bulldozer. By the way, when they officially ran those times, 9.04 for Barefoot in that last round was the fastest run of the entire event.
Let's see what Gravedigger can do as they come off the line. And at the start, Gravedigger looks pretty strong, but Bulldozer keeping right up. Who's got the horsepower? It's going to be Gravedigger.
You know, the Dennis Anderson-based Gravedigger team always prides itself on being able to adapt to any course, and driver Pablo Huffaker has really taken to this course. I mean, start to finish, he's looked the best of any of the trucks.
Got through the turn well and then showed that great horsepower down the home stretch to pull away and really win rather easily. So it'll be Gravedigger and Barefoot in the finals. Pablo Huffaker, as we look at it again. Here comes Pablo down the stretch, and you can see the horsepower as he's up in the air. Let's go down to Dan Moriarty.
Pablo, you're in the finals.
Hey, great. I like to see that. Hopefully we can get another run like we did there. Truck's making a lot of ground speed when I pull high gear coming out of that turn. I'm ready to give Tom a run for his money.
I'm telling you, Todd said, I hope Digger wins this one. I want to meet him in the finals.
Who am I running? Todd with Barefoot? Oh, man, I hate to have to take him out in the finals.
He just told me before you ran, he was hoping it was you.
Well, that's good. I like racing Todd. He's really competitive. I'll tell you what, though, his big Hemi in that truck's tough to hang with. If we get into that turn at the same time, it could be bad.
He's gone 3 rounds beating guys on the jump is where he won those races all 3 times in the air.
Is he getting them on the finish? Maybe I can get him over the first set and race him over the finish.
All right, we've got a great final set up, and we come back. We're pulling some sleds with unlimited dragsters. Stay tuned. Had some wild times.
Tony Farrell gets up on his side, and you can see the whole thing breaks, and over she goes. At the end of the night, it was Tom Metz and the Monster Patrol on top in the Astrodome.
And then the freestyling. You gotta love it. Predator, little monster wheelie. That's having some fun. Gravedigger didn't have much fun, rolled over. Hey, let's get down again to Dan Moriarty.
The truck. So when it's rocking back and forth, you know, you're in the exact center. It's not like being on one end of a seesaw or something. You know, if you're sitting in the middle of the seesaw, you know, it barely moves there in the center, but yet on the ends, you know, it might move 5 or 6 feet. And the same goes with the way the seat is positioned in the truck. It's in the exact center, so the ride isn't as rough as it actually looks like. You know, you're at the pivot point of the truck. The ride is better, and not only that, it's just the more room you have around you. You know, I just feel more secure and more comfortable, you know, in the truck in the center seat.
Still to come, we have got the finals of the monster trucks. Scott, I think we got a great showdown between Barefoot and Gravedigger.
It's really a flip a coin. Barefoot's been awesome all night, but I learned a long time ago, never pick against the Gravedigger.
It's going to be tough to choose either one of these. They both have a lot of power. But coming up next on TNN Motor Madness Monster Jam, we'll have the Monster Finals. You know what they say about big feet. Big shoes. In this case, really, really big shoes.
How high is
Huge
that?
tire. It's 66 inches tall.
Look at how tiny that is in the big picture.
Yeah, and it's 43 inches wide. As long as he unloads the bears, yeah, you don't argue with him. Roughly, they weigh right around 800 to 900 pounds.
No sneakers ever made could hold the 4 feet this massive monster carries around. Todd Froelich is the master of this monster truck. You can believe it, these tires are smaller than the originals.
This part right here is knocked off so that, because the tire used to be way out to here. So when you come into a corner, that would all hook, want to flip you over.
Flipping over, the great fear of all monster masters. What does it feel like to end up on the roof?
Man, you're driving the whole time. I just rolled it about 2 months ago, and when I was on my roof, I was still driving the damn thing. You know, I know it's coming back up. Just give me a second here, and we'll get this back on our wheels and continue on.
The fans love the rollovers, but successful jumps and donuts are just as much fun.
They like the noise, the excitement, just like we do, you know. This has been exciting from the time you roll into town, you know. It just starts building till the time you shut it off at night, you know. It just builds.
But what do the fans really want to know? What it feels like driving the biggest barefoot of all.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to describe, you know. Some days it's fear, not knowing what's over that next hill. Some days it's just pure excitement, you know. You know it's coming, and it's all fun.
With feet like this, how hard is it to wipe your shoes when you come home?
I don't know. I better call my mom. She keeps telling me to grow up, so.
Go ahead. Go shred.
This is just an awesome combination, though. You know, one of the most talented young drivers in Frolic teaming up with the Barefoot team.
And there is Pablo Huffaker in Gravedigger. He is going up against Todd and Barefoot here in the finals. This is a great show today.
Yeah, like a horse race, Gravedigger is your quick breaker. Your speed horse is going to move quickly and move to the lead, but Barefoot's the closer. You've seen how strong he has been throughout this event on the back half of the course. If Barefoot wins it, it'll be on that last jump.
But we'll see. And Pablo and Gravedigger have to get off to a good start.
Oh, Barefoot got him out of the... Wow. Unbelievable. Barefoot got him out of the hole.
And here comes that power that we see in Barefoot. Oh, my! What a run for Barefoot!
Something was wrong with Gravedigger from the get-go. He did not get a great run, and it looks like he's not even going to finish the course. Terrible break.
And congratulations, though, to Todd Froelich and Barefoot. What a performance here in Houston tonight.
He was awesome all night long, and especially once he makes the turn, coming for home, nobody's got as much as Todd Froelich. And right there, you see Gravedigger's done, and Barefoot's flying.
Flying indeed. That 1998 Dodge Ram. What a performance here, and what excitement from Todd Froelich.
Now, that's a souvenir every fan would like to take home from the show.
Yeah, as we see Todd again, tremendous horsepower. Our Dan Moriarty has caught up with our winner tonight, Todd Froelich.
Todd, you want him in the finals, you got him in the finals. Unfortunately, it didn't go all the way to the rope, but...
Yeah, it was close coming into the corner. Like I said all along to him, he's got the horsepower. I think I might have had him all the way, but you never know. It's tough luck when you go out like that. I know he's disappointed. He wanted to freestyle for the fans fair in Houston. We were talking about it out back. We were ready to tear this place up.
Good man, congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate it.
That was a great, great race.
Well, as something happened to Gravedigger and Pablo Huffaker, and Dan's down with Pablo right now. Let's find out just what happened on that run.
Pablo, what happened?
Well, when I pulled the line, they hit the RII. The battery took a dump on me, I guess, and the plates internally shorted out, and the thing didn't want to refire. They put jumper cables on it. It fired back up. I knew right then, though, I was going to have a problem. My voltage was going to be low, and my rev limiter was going to be kicking in early, and my ignition system was going to shut down. But I went ahead and made a run for it anyhow, and the batteries just totally shut down as I came through that last turn and shut the motor off when they did that.
I mean, when you hit that turn, there was two trucks that were neck and neck. You really hit those turns exactly together.
Yeah, I think if our truck had been 100% then, or even 50%, that'd been a lot closer race at the finish. I mean, I lost all my power as soon as I came out of the turn and put my foot off in it on account of the ignition system shutting down.
Thanks, Pablo. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it.
Tough break for Pablo, but we had a lot of fun here tonight.
A lot of fun. And remember, you can catch live monster truck action tomorrow night in Anaheim, Indianapolis, Tampa, and Toronto.
And that'll do it for us here in the Astrodome. For Dan Moriarty and Scott Douglas, I'm Mike Hogwood. Our congratulations to Barefoot, our big winner. So long, everybody. Enjoy the jam.
Hey, are you guys brothers?
This is Hall Brothers Racing. Who drives the truck? Can I drive?
No. Are you nuts?
When you get up that high, do you get a nosebleed?
No, never.
We go into it, it's like we leave our brains in the trailer sometimes. And that's a wrap. Jack.